try to resist when, darling, I know so well that I've got you.
You're listening to The Mark Cox Show. Find everything Mark Cox at 971talk.com/Cox.
How about that? That is not Frank Sinatra, in case you think your ears are plugged or something. That was the one and only Chris Arps, who's in the studio now, fresh from his honeymoon. And welcome back, buddy.
Nat King Cole, isn't it?
Was it Nat King Cole?
Yeah, and do you see my tan?
Yeah.
Can you see it? Is it good?
You did good down there in Florida. You had some sunshine.
I didn't use any sunscreen. So it was, I tried to get the full effect.
Well, congrats on being a married man now.
Thank you for being a part of the wedding. Thank you for showing up. And we had a great time. And I want to take this opportunity, if you don't mind, to just thank everyone that came to the wedding, to the reception, and how deeply touched Becky and I were that people actually showed up. I mean, seriously, when I was, in the back of the church and we first came out, and I was like, oh, okay, people did show up.
You were a little worried. You had a full house. You kidding me?
I was like, oh, people showed up. Great. I was worried about that.
People being turned away at the door. Yeah, that was great. So you're off for a week, and not much happened. Yeah. Really, except Fusion GPS and Uranium One, and then Paul Manafort being indicted.
And I should have really been caught up, because I think Becky and I, to most people, our honeymoon was probably the most boring honeymoon in history. We didn't do a lot.
Well, that's the point of a honeymoon, isn't it?
I mean, but, people are like...
You're not touring Europe on your honeymoon.
Some of my relatives are like, well, what did you do? Did you go here, do that? I'm like, we kind of just lived on the beach.
Hey, you went to the beach, man.
And had good dinners. That was about the extent of it.
That's
that
the
I
point.
want to share on the radio.
That's great. Well, good for you.
Yeah,
I'm glad you had you should have caught up on this stuff then.
We had a great
know?
time. But I did get behind on some of this GPS infusion and some of the Mueller and Rothstein and uranium. I'm dark on
So
that.
then let's focus more on what happened yesterday with this announcement on Manafort.
Yeah.
I don't know if you heard my take on it, but primarily I think it was weak. The only person charged, really, who's pleaded guilty to anything is this Papadopoulos dude, who's got a great last name. It's fun to say it on the radio, Papadopoulos. But he was some low level from the standpoint that he didn't have like a position with the campaign. He wasn't paid. He wasn't anything. And nothing he pleaded guilty to had anything to do with collusion. There's no allegation that he did anything wrong except lie to the FBI about when he had a certain meeting. That was it.
Apparently, just an off track for a second, apparently a meme that I saw on Facebook that the Papadopoulos, that it's the same name as the Webster's dad,
Alex Karras. Remember the actor? Yeah, I saw that.
Boy, that's a strange one. But, I agree with you, Mark. But there's one thing, though. I think trying to prove what Papadopoulos did is any type of collusion is a stretch. But it does make you think, was he trying to get dirt on Hillary or some type of dirt on the campaign to use? Was he conspiring with them in that sense? I think that may be a question. But with Manafort, I feel sorry for Manafort, because if Manafort would have never gotten involved with the campaign, all this nefarious stuff that he did, that didn't do, would have never came to light. He wouldn't have been on anyone's radar.
I guess my hesitancy there is, you said, was this guy trying to get dirt on Hillary? Just like the lawyer from Russia who tried to meet with Don Jr., who claimed she had some dirt on Hillary Clinton, linking her to Russia. I guess I don't see what the I don't see what the conspiracy is there, right? How unless you work with a foreign government to change the outcome of an election, that's when you're in collusion to do something. No. If you're working, if you find out information that Hillary Clinton had some illegal connection to Moscow, it would be your duty to report that, just like supposedly it was John McCain's duty to report this fake dossier to the FBI, who then took it in its entirety and passed it up the chain, and it led to investigations.
But Mark, none of these people are talking about turning this stuff over to the FBI. If you remember the emails that came out with Don Jr., he was excited about possibly getting information on Russia. He's like, great, the later in the summer, the better. So you cannot, regardless, as an American citizen, you can't get any type of information from a foreign government at all, even if it's
but how can you say that
to use in the campaign? Now you can turn it over to the government, of course, but they weren't talking about turning it over.
You're making my case about
talking about using that.
But here's what you missed last week, in case you were in your blackout period during your honeymoon, right? Yeah. Fusion GPS and this law firm were paid $8 million by Hillary Clinton and the Democrats for the sole purpose of going to Russia and having this Christopher Steele dig up dirt on Donald Trump with KGB agents and everybody else from the Kremlin. There's evidence. It's in the paperwork.
That's just as I'm just as adamant about looking into that as anything. You cannot conspire with a foreign government to get dirt on your political enemies. I mean, you can't do that.
But if this Christopher Steele is the middle person and Fusion GPS is the middle person in all of this, did Hillary Clinton conspire with Russia? She paid somebody to find out some information. If Don Trump Jr. gets an email from somebody that says Hillary Clinton is best friends with somebody in the Kremlin and traded this, I mean, I still don't see how that's how does that rise to collusion?
There's not that many buffers in between the situation with Trump and Donald Trump Jr. when they were getting. He's, was saying, hey, if this is information legit, the better the summer, we get in the summer, the better. This is possible dirt on the Clinton. I mean, that's direct. I mean, the stuff with, you're mentioning is there's a lot of buffers.
So what if the dirt is that the Russians primed the Clinton Foundation with $1.3 million because they knew they were going to get the Uranium One deal because of that? What if it's quid pro quo?
I think the lesson,
that's illegal.
I think the overall lesson is in this, and I think it was shown that the Trump people weren't very well versed in politics and professionals. That if you get any hint of a foreign government, especially Russia or any government trying to influence the election, especially one that you're involved in, that you should directly turn around and not walk but run. And I think that's the lesson in all this, so it doesn't get to the point that we're having this type of debate back and forth. What is collusion? What is collusion?
And
splitting hairs.
Here's what we know is that Donald Trump took that meeting, Don Trump Jr., met with that woman, didn't get any information. Meeting was over in 7 or 8 minutes. Nothing came of it. This Papadopoulos guy had some contacts with this Russian professor, tried to set up a meeting with the campaign, and the campaign said no, nothing to it. In Hillary's case, we can follow the money. $8 million worth of it between the DNC and the Clinton campaign to this law firm, to Fusion GPS, to Christopher Steele, to the Trump dossier. Which is, I mean, my point is here, like many people who listen to this program, I am frustrated that once again, Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton, in this case, have gotten away with something that just seems obvious to so many of us, and there are no we finally got a Uranium One investigation at least. There should be a special counsel. I
mean, as a Emmy Award-winning former investigative reporter, doesn't it make you, and I don't think Papadopoulos is in a big conspiracy, but does it make you question at all why would he lie that he had contact with Russians?
He didn't lie about having contact with them. He lied about when he met with them, like the time frame. Okay. Like they knew that he met on August 28th or September 1st, and he told him that he met in June. And was it a mistake? I don't know. Was it intentional? I don't know. He pleaded guilty to lying about the timing of that meeting, not the content.
Okay, well, I didn't know that. I apologize to Mr. Papadopoulos. I'm stuck. Papadopoulos.
Snuffleupagus. That's what I was thinking about when I say that. I know. But I just, when I look at this, it makes me wonder how is there, if the allegation is that one side committed some sort of a crime, but there's yet no proof of it. But we look on the other side and we see a very clear line of cash, and what they got in return for it was a fake dossier that came directly from Russia. How is that not a crime?
You know what, I would like to see a reform in the special investigation cases. You know, he has full authority to investigate wherever it may lead. And this whole Manafort situation has nothing to do with the campaign, but he can issue indictments regarding alleged things that he's done, and it's stuck to the campaign. It should be a situation that within their investigation, if they find some wrongdoing with someone doing something, but it's not directly directed to what they're investigating, then they should direct that to another investigator and let them bring the charges and stick to their original mandate. Because even though this stuff has nothing to do with Trump, it looks like they're being investigated, and the media is trumping it all up as, oh, it's a full-blown scandal now, even though it has nothing to do with the original mandate of the investigation.
Hillary says we're on the wrong track.
The great story here, for anybody willing to find it and write about it and explain it, is this vast right-wing conspiracy.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's what it's got to be. I'm just telling you.
It is.
314-969-9797. When we come back, we're going to be joined by one of the county election directors, Rick Stream. He was part of a news conference last night talking about problems at the local veterans home. We'll get him on the radio. We'll talk about that. We'll get some of your phone calls right after this.
This is the Mark Cox Show.